Hi, Journals for Life fans. Hope that you are doing well. What do you have in your cup? I got this cute Minion Kevin mug at Universal on vacation a couple weeks ago, and it is my absolute new favorite mug. And I'm drinking my regular old Italian roast straight up. Nothing in it. So anyway, I am here today to talk about stamp layering. I want to show you some new fun stamps that I have in the shop. And I want to talk about layering, doing you. So we all have tons of stamps and different kinds, different sentiments. I tend to gravitate towards simpler images with journal prompts and then making my own titles with large alpha sets. So that's kind of what I do. So I have some fun new things. So I'm going to be using these stamps and showing you how to get the most out of your stamps using some layering techniques. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this month's kit stamp, which is the comic stamp. And so to me, when I released the comic kit, comic to me meant comic book, comic strip, telling stories, visual stories, and then a comedian. So there's a bunch of different prompts on the stamp. Before, after, then he says, then she said, meanwhile, the end. So it's great for storytelling. And so I'm going to combine it with the details grid stamp that I have right here. This cute little grid is very versatile. You can use any of these small things to stamp right here or in this box right here. They fit. Most of the 3x4 kit stamps that are made, I make this to coordinate with this, so you can layer this in your journal. And so let's make a quick journal page using the comic stamp, August of 2022, and the details grid stamp. And I'm going to speed it up so you don't have to wait through the boring parts. Alright, so as you can see, I've stamped this using one stamp. I have some journaling to do, but I use the detail grid stamp, and then I use the comic stamp with some little decorations, rule of thirds, and I left plenty of room to journal. So I'm going to use this to organize my journaling, meanwhile, and then laughter. Meanwhile, tell the story. Details, I'll probably put the date, and then that we laughed about it. So that is one way to get the most out of your kit stamp for the month. So let's go on to technique 2. All right, so for the next technique, I'm going to use this new stamp. It's called Crafty Life. And it says, I'm a curator, kind of creator, limited edition, crafty friends. It's about creativity, not productivity. Duh. Handmade with Love, Make and Take, Craft Till You Drop, Meet Me at the Crop, Craft Diva, where lifelong friends are made, and there's like a little stamp and some scissors, a little heart, some stars, and a big heart for layering. So I made this one to document, you know, your make and takes at your local craft store, or when you go with your friends to crops, or just get-togethers at your home, you know, whatever that may look like. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to layer, I'm going to stamp images, and then I'm going to stamp a sentiment on top. So that's how I'm going to layer with this stamp here. So let's get started. Alright, so there we have it. So now we used these images to make a nice little background for Crop Till You Drop, and I put crafty friends with some little hearts because I like spending time with my friends. And there's a quick and easy way to make an impact. You can journal about what you're going to do. You can stamp some more images on there. So like if you did a little stamping, get together, maybe you make cards, there's like a little stamp. There's also some little scissors on here, so you know, if you wanted to keep decorating the side, you could also put some little scissors on there. But that is how to make a quick background using your images, layering that with some sentiments. So let's move on to the next stamp. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do using this blobs stamp, this is kind of a funny looking stamp. It's abstract, it's got all these little prints, it's really cute. Let's see if I can get it framed there. And so this is a lot of fun. It's like stone looking patterns that kind of can be grouped together, and you have some little bitty elements. So for this one, you want to stamp light. Like the bigger ones, you'll stamp light, and then the outlines and the smaller piece, you'll stamp dark, so it layers on top. So think about that too. I remember when I got married and picking out colors, it said, you know, light to dark, what do you want to stand out? If the people wearing light would fade into the background, and people wearing a brighter or contrasting color would be in the front. So that's how I learned a little bit about colors and layering. So for this, we'll do lighter colors so that the darker colors layer really nice and they stand out. So let's get started. And there you go. So there's a whole bunch of interesting looking shapes grouped in the corner. And in the corner, I stamped out working in the yard. That kind of went downhill. I'm not a very neat stamper, but you could get a block and line it up. That's what I did with yard. So working in the yard, that was a quick and easy way to get an impactful background. And you see how I used the lighter colors and I stamped darker on top the light. So, you know, all the colors I stamped on top were darker so you could see it and it stands out just a little bit. So this is the blob stamp and it is new in the shop. So let's move on to the next stamp. And the letters were the Vivian typewriter stamp that I have in the shop. This is a 6x8 Vivian typewriter stamp. All right, the next stamp I'm going to use is the new in shop paint splatters. This is just a great way to add interest to your background. So I am going to use some of these paint splatters, and then I'm also going to follow up with a bold font. So this is the Alex alphabet in the store, and they're made to be tall and skinny so you could fit a lot of words across the page. So this is the Alex alpha combined with the paint splatters. Let's get started. And there you go. I decided to go with the slightly larger tag because I decided I wanted to do a Hello Weekend. And so you saw that I used the paint set. I accidentally dropped it here. You could see it. I dropped it and I was like, well, then we're going to go for the messy look. So I ended up like second generation stamping it and patting it and getting all the ink off the stamp, which is fun because it is a paint stamp. And then I used this little spray of dots from the blob stamp, and then this is the Alex alphabet stamp. But you see how quick and fun that is? And then it looks different depending on the colors that you pick. So this is a nice 4x8 tag that you can put right into your journal. So that is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed these layering projects. So that is this tag. That is this new blobs stamp with the Vivian Alpha. This is the paint stamp, blob stamp, and Alex alphabet. This is the new Crafty Friends. And this is this month's comic stamp combined with the detail grid. And so this one shows you that you can use this detail grid on just about anywhere. You could put it down at the bottom and put a photo at the top. And this is how you use your monthly kit stamps. So each monthly kit stamp usually has some layering elements, and that 3x4 space is super impactful. You get elements and then also a lot of journaling prompts. This grid stamp helps enhance it if you want to sneak journaling onto your layouts. So that is it, my friends. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Happy layering!